Rakatha Yahweh Shah, Rakatha Yahweh, Rakatha Yahweh Shah, Rakatha Yahweh, Rakatha Yahweh Shah, Call Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Raha Kadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, the great millstone, and the people that taught our elders and apostles. We give double honors as well. And this is your brother Yakar Abin from Great Millstone, Houston, back with another lesson. You know, my voice is kind of messed up. I've been a little under the weather, but it's all good. But the things that are taking place on the earth, um, are the scriptures go into, everything that's happening right now. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. It says, the thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So, the things that have happened on the earth come around and happen again. You know, we have this prophetic book that tells of things happening, in one period of time, and then it tells of things happening in another period of time as well, you know, because the Heavenly Father wrote this, you know, from let's get it. Uh, this is Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10. It says, okay, we'll get verse 9. It says, remember the former things of old. And that's kind of what we're going into, you know, because the things that have been are things that shall be done. There's no new thing under the sun. So remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So the Heavenly Father, you know, wrote out these things for the prophets to interpret, you know, so, to give to the people, so the people will understand the things that are going to come to pass in the future. We'll get that as well. This is Sirach 39 and 1. 39. This is Sirach chapter 39 and verse 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, occupied being, this is employed, being employed in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of the ancient and be occupied, employed in prophecies. So, the prophecies are speaking at this time. We see the prophecies speaking. We understand the things that are going on. It says, he will keep the sayings of renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. So he will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. And let's basically give you a definition of a parable. Let's get that. Come on. Hold parable. This is a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson as told by Yahweh Shah in the Gospels. You know, a simple story to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson. Well, so, well, let's go back to the. Okay, where are we? This is Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 5. You know, these prophecies are speaking. It says, "Behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though it be told you." So the Heavenly Father is speaking. You know, he was speaking to Habakkuk in those days, and he's also speaking to us in these days. It says, "For I will raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs." So, okay, you know, America is spiritually the Chaldeans. You know, the things that happened back then are the things that are happening now. And America is showing itself to be the Chaldeans, you know, by 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 way of what is going on in the world today. It says they are a terrible and they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall precede themselves. It says their judgment, let's get that, justice, ordinance, act of deciding a case, Mashapat H4941, their judgment and their dignity, elevation, exaltation, dignity, swelling, uprising, Sha'ath, Sha'ath, H7613. So, you know, they're swelling up, their dignity, their uprising, you know, boasting themselves. It says their dignity shall proceed, go before them. Proceed to come out, come up, exit, go forth. To go or come out or forth, depart. It says H3318 Yatazah. Okay. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall precede of themselves. It says their horses also are swifter than the leopards and are more fierce than the evening wolves, and their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteneth to earth. Okay, so yeah, this is, you know, signifying Esau, so-called white man in America in today's times. I got a quick YouTube video. We're gonna go into it, and then we're gonna ask Chat GPT, you know, a question. It's just a 3-minute video, but we're gonna let it play in its entirety. So check it out.
Monroe doctrine is a big deal. They now call it the Monroe document. I don't know.
President Donald Trump keeps talking about the Monroe Doctrine, something he says allows the U.S. to carry out military action in South America, like the arrest of Venezuela's president at the weekend. So what exactly is the Monroe Doctrine? Why?
Okay, let's go, man. It says, "For lo, I will raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs." So, you know, this proud man is trying to establish. Well, we're going to get into it. It's going to tell you. There you go.
Calling it the Monroe Doctrine, and what kind of threat does it pose? Well, to start, we need to go back a couple of centuries to 1823, when it was written by the fifth US president and founding father, James Monroe. The Americas had just broken free from British imperialism, and the Monroe Doctrine enshrined that European countries wouldn't interfere in American business going forward. It warned European nations that we should consider any attempt on their part to extend their system to any portion of this hemisphere as dangerous to our peace and safety. In effect, America was taking responsibility not just for itself, but the whole Western Hemisphere. And in return, the US wouldn't interfere in European affairs. In the years since, it's been used to justify American involvement in foreign countries, such as in 1904, when the US intervened in the Dominican Republic. Then President Teddy Roosevelt said the country could act as international police power. Trump has now referenced the doctrine to justify the use of military power in Venezuela.
America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did.
And of course, with
Drive us back into or out of our own hemisphere. So what is he talking about? But it says, they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall precede themselves. So they're puffed up, they're boasting and talking shit. They're talking shit, just exactly like the verse is saying. They're boasting themselves on what they can do, and they're taking things that are not theirs. This proud man neither keepeth at home.
personal twist.
The Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot. They now call it the Monroe document. I don't know.
But it might not stop at Venezuela. Donald Trump and members of his administration have already issued warnings to several other countries and territories, including Venezuela's neighbor Colombia, already under financial sanctions imposed by Trump. Cuba, which has close ties to Venezuela and has come under pressure from the White House. Mexico, a country the president has complained about for years, saying he would have to do something about cartels running the country. And his primary target, Greenland, a semi-autonomous part of Denmark, Trump insists he needs for U.S. national security.
We're under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere.
Is it American dominance in the Western Hemisphere? I mean, it's speaking right there. This is, they're terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. So this is speaking, the thing that have been is now. The thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. There's no new thing under the sun. So the modern day Chaldeans is America, and Habakkuk, the Lord said, ye among the heathen, you Israelites that are here in America, and regard a wonder, Salakia. It says, behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. So, our people, we're telling them that this is talking about America, but guess what? They don't believe us. They don't believe us, and we're watching these prophecies play out, Yeah.
Be questioned again. Won't happen.
But this has put Trump at loggerheads with European leaders, as Denmark is a member of NATO, an organization which includes the US, which is supposed to work collectively towards security. Denmark says that if the Trump administration takes Greenland unilaterally, it would mark the end of the agreement, which Europe has relied on for its security since the end of World War II. 7 European leaders have now issued a joint statement insisting Greenland belongs to its people, but they won't want to risk antagonizing the US leader. This White House is testing all the rules that countries usually operate by. It has made very clear that it views the Western Hemisphere as its backyard, the Monroe Doctrine in full effect.
So, that's the beginning of the ten horns hating the whore. They already got seven, you know, in that agreement. But I asked Chat GPT, I believe, or AI overview. It says, does America portray Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 5 through 8? And, it's just flat out, you see it right there. It says, yes. I mean, we're not worried about the Christians, but it says many Christians and preachers interpret Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5 through 8, which I just read, which speaks of God doing an unbelievable work through a fierce nation, Babylon in the text. We understand that, America is the new Babylon, the land of confusion, and as a prophetic warning that America is facing its own time of judgment or significant change, with some seeing current global events or societal issues as God's power, awe-inspiring and challenging work unfolding in America, much like the Babylonians were to the Israelites. Absolutely. Absolutely. It says the prophet Habakkuk asks God why he tolerates injustice and sin in Judah, but God reveals he's raising up the Babylonians, the Chaldeans, a ruthless and powerful people, to discipline Judah, a work so shocking that Habakkuk wouldn't believe it if it told. Look at the nations and see, be astonished, be astounded, for the work is being done in your days that you would not believe if it were told you. So, you know, the AI has got it. The AI has got it because, you know, uh, the United States mimics this. The United States mimics the things that have happened of old. So these prophecies are coming off the page. You know, because they're showing that this is what they want to do. It says Habakkuk 1:9. It says, "They shall come all for violence; their faces shall sup up at the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand." And these these nations that these to our southern border, these are Israelites. These different areas that America wants to take over. Those are Israelite countries. And I'm sure there's Israelites in Greenland as well, but primarily to our southern borders, because the Israelites have been scattered in all nations. With that being said, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Raha Kadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds. Shalom.